Hello, this is Joe Lackey, president of Dreams Fulfilled. I'm here at the Florida Operations Center. We're just doing a quick review for the shareholders of PayPal Holdings. So let me step into the work we've been doing there with them. Well, first let me introduce you to my company. This is my Facebook page, dreams-fulfilled.net or dreamsfulfilledinflorida.com. We're a leading consulting agency uncovering more than $200 billion for several companies since mid-2021. We've invoiced for over $30 billion in the first quarter of 2022. What can we do for your company? How many billions can we find your organization? That's what Dreams Fulfilled does. We help businesses do better. We try to work with governments, but not so much under contract. But anyways, we did a review here for PayPal Holdings Incorporated. It was a review by my company, Dreams Fulfilled, angered private equity investors, institutional investors that are now advocating for mass firings to prevent investment bleeding after a 73% loss of PayPal Holdings. That's the PayPal stock value went from $300.48 on July 27th, 2021, and now it's down to $81.68. That's a 73% loss in the stock valuation of PayPal Holdings Incorporated. We ran some beta tests on their systems back in January 2022. We offered to work with the management teams. We had an $88 billion deal on the table, and they snubbed it. They said they don't want to work with us. Well, that's $22 billion of work that we could have done to improve, or $88 billion that we could have improved their valuations. So you know what happened? Look at their stock value. It halved since we made the offer to them. So they lost another half of their equity because they refused to work with Dreams Fulfilled. So you know what? Now we're actually thinking maybe the management teams need to be fired. Look at, who's not performing at PayPal, who messed up, what the penalties are for regulatory compliance, and see where the deficiencies are. Have the auditors go in there, like I did, and review exactly what's not working with the company, and then essentially fire the laggards and the employees that aren't doing the job. Because PayPal has some serious problems, and it's now hurting the investor because the investors got wind of it, I think back in July of last year, and certainly by the fall, they really started to understand that there was a problem with PayPal. So we have some inquiries right now opened up on the Facebook floor to see exactly where, try to get some feedback from people so that people the companies can understand, and even perhaps the auditors can understand how deep these problems run within PayPal, and propose some solutions to prevent the bleeding from the investors that put all this money into PayPal and now have seen a 73% stock loss in less than a year. This is ridiculous. So that's the kind of work Dreams Fulfilled does. We try to protect the investors and the investment capital, and then we call out management teams when they're not performing. And I don't think they're performing very well if you see a 73% loss in less than a year. So we've been advocating now for mass firings or an investigation, perhaps a class action lawsuit against the teams, that aren't executing, or some of the technical issues we saw, which may point to regulatory compliance issues. So like I said, I was not too happy with the work that I did with PayPal. I tried to get payment from them. They refused to acknowledge the work we did for them. They refused to pay us. And we encountered all these problems with their systems. Literally, we sent them a 12-page document filled with problems, and they just, I don't know, I guess they didn't recognize the value of the service we were providing. So they decided not to pay us. Well, you know what? Now we're going to rally and get with the capital investors and the shareholders and try to put pressure on these management teams because they're not performing well. Anyways, we have another business proposition before Apollo Global Management. We have a $1 billion equity review of their strategic holdings of AOL for their customers. We think this is a great opportunity for business intelligence injections into their strategic model for the AOL holdings. And I don't want to say too much about what I know, but essentially I've been working with two of their executive leaders here. Mark Balinson is on the board of directors, and also I just fired an email over to Mark Rowan. He's the CEO and of Apollo Global Management. So hopefully between Mark Rowan and Mark Balinson, they can review my proposal to see if we can provide some technical guidance so that their teams can perhaps come up to speed with some of the newer technologies that will ultimately, may grow their valuations 2, 3, 4, 5 times what they put in. So I believe there's a huge investment leverage there and opportunity for the shareholders to really increase the valuation of the portfolio for Apollo Global Management, which is why, independently as CEO and president of Dreams Fulfilled, this is me, Joe Lackey, I wanted to reach out to their team to see if we could work with them on this project. We have $3 trillion of U.S. projects that we're working on currently. We had the $1 trillion review with California Governor Gavin Newsom back on December 25th, 2021, and subsequent damages to the oil and gas industry and the sector because of California regulations. We're now seeing this in terms of soaring gas prices going to $6 or $7 a pump in California. This is very bad for U.S. consumer and will ultimately is creating a systemic inflation, which is why the Fed raised interest rates. So it's basically going to cause a recessionary, perhaps even a depressionary cycle if this is not resolved. And we look to Governor Gavin Newsom, we look to Canada to try to fix these problems with their oil and gas exploration. Over regulation can essentially cause inflation, and that's what we're having right now. It's an over regulation problem, poor execution from the Biden administration, and we also have an issue with the whole ECV environmental push represents a national security problem, and I don't think Americans understand this, but essentially a lot of the raw materials that are used to produce electric vehicles come from countries that are hostile to the United States, China and Russia being two of them. So this is a very dangerous time to be pushing these eco-friendly programs that could actually cause a national security problem for the United States downstream in terms of supply line. So this is something that I've been challenging these governors, especially Governor Newsom on, and also the Prime Minister of Canada. And we have another additional work on the ACA for the American people. We believe the Supreme Court was racketeering with the entire legal profession, and this is very dangerous from a U.S. legal standpoint. And I say this because we had lawmakers admit they didn't read the law until after it was passed. So that violates due diligence, that weakens the entire legal profession. Very bad decision by the U.S. Supreme Court. Weakens the U.S. Internationally in terms of, the fact that now that we've undercut due diligence, and it also opens a slippery slope up for bad laws going forward, which is another reason why I'm against it. And it raises costs for every American in terms of if they are a working American, their costs for ACA healthcare have gone up rather rapidly because of the attorney costs to read the 20,000-page law, which takes 70 days to read. if they read it within 8 hours. It's terrible. We continue to invoice our customers for new projects. Gas prices, of course, are sky high. We see this at the pump. No relief in sight. This will continue, and that's why we put pressure on California's governor, Newsom, because we believe there's $1 trillion opportunity there to lower costs for every American. But we need California in compliance, and we need California to lift restrictive regulations on the energy sector. And we cannot sustain our country with wind energy. We do need coal, we do need oil and gas, but it has to be done cleanly to protect the environment. So there has to be a line that's walked to protect the environment, but also not to cripple U.S. economics. So we see here, this is another Facebook post. You can check me out at Joseph P. Lackey on Facebook. I do a lot of independent work there on behalf of Dreams Fulfilled. And I write a lot of articles, like I said, promoting the company and my corporate work independently. So this is another article from Facebook. Basically, a lot of the energy policies now are impacting your wallet, and this is more than a Russian problem. This is a U.S. government and environmental problem, and we need our leaders to take ownership and prevent that problem by looking at the laws that are causing the increase in the inflationary spiral we're now seeing. So, the federal infrastructure work is currently on hold for risk management and investment capital loss protection while we invoice Fortune 500 customers for payment. It's complicated because delays with blockchain and email receipts, and sometimes even telecom has failures where emails don't go through. So this is causing a laggard issue, and we don't want our invoicing to be ignored at the risk of pursuing risky, high overhead, low margin government jobs. So we're in a balance right now, trying to get payments so that we can look at our strategy going forward. We did, like I said, come up with a $60 billion opportunity for DLA and SAM work, but like I said, I just don't have the resources right now because I'm balancing trying to get payment on projects I've already done work on. So we're in a pinch right now because of blockchain, email issues, and sometimes these Fortune 500 companies are also strapped because of cryptocurrency damages to their portfolio. And additionally, Brexit has still applying pressure on economics. So here we are. Brexit was from 2020. That was supposed to be resolved in 2020. And there's still a liquidity problem in the system with the Fortune 500 companies because of Brexit and the whole freeze up in the economy, in the lending system because of Brexit. And that's also adding to the depressionary cycle in terms of getting new financing, new money. We saw this actually with Keller Williams here in the Sarasota area. We could not get financing from them, and they were relying on Bank of England, and that was tied up with Brexit. So it was a whole domino effect of pointing back to Brexit. So, like I said, we're a very efficient company, so a lot of times these systems don't react as fast as we do. So we have to sit on emails to get responses. So, like I said, that does slow us down a little bit, but it also puts pressure on the Fortune 500 companies that they need to be respecting the work we've done for them and pay us for the work we've done, or otherwise we won't be there to help them in the future. So, like I said, we continue to work on invoicing. And thank you for your time today. It's been a pleasure reviewing our status with the investors and with all the people here helping Dreams Fulfilled become one of the most successful consulting companies in the world. We're based mostly out of the Florida Operations Center, but we're looking at an international expansion as we continue to grow and gain new customers. Have an excellent day. Take care.